Hello, everyone. This is our chat with Smilin Sam Alvey, Karate Combat Heavyweight Champion of the World. Sam is not only a polarizing figure in combat sports, but he also stands out because, other than that, he puts his own personal values first. You're literally doing the daily roundabouts on your farm, which is insane. I don't know how you combine that with fighting. Like, how do you balance those out, man? That's insane. It's two full-time jobs.
Yeah, the honest answer is I don't. It just works itself out. I have no idea how it happens. Yeah. No, I got to feed the horse and the chickens and the pigs and the goats. I got to do it all every day. And then I get to the gym by 8, and I get to the second gym by 9:30 or 10. And it's a daily thing that I make, feed everything every day, take care of the kids. I'm a busy guy, but I've always got time for you.
I find that fantastic, man. I find that fantastic. It's inspiring, yeah, I find that very great because nowadays, I mean, I live in Europe. We had the whole farming crisis on, and ever since, like past 2 years since COVID, we started buying food more at farms. So I got into it. I started learning about it, and I'm like, why did somehow it got taken away from us, and now we somehow slowly crawled it back in Western society to just homesteading and things like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, my wife and I joked, when the zombies attack or the Chinese show up or whatever, we'll be able to make it 2 weeks longer than everyone else. That's our goal.
At least 2 weeks, you got that sorted.
We got that covered.
The Alvey homestead survives. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. So another thing I've noticed is that both you and your wife train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, sir?
Oh, yeah. She's better than me. No, we've been training from the beginning. I mean, we do kickboxing and sparring, and she's probably my best rounds.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just from as soon as I started training, she started training too. She's just prettier than I am, so I don't want her to get hit.
Well, I think as a woman, it's the best fighting sport to practice. It's the best martial art, right? In that sense, you don't get blue eyes and this and that. Yeah.
I did break her nose once, and now every time she spars, it's with a face mask on.
Oh, so you get that one through the nads now and then. She's like, and remember that time, Sam? Remember that?
Yep.
Definitely right. So let's talk about, first off, what is for you the biggest difference between competing in, say, an organization like the UFC and karate combat? Because there's different rule sets. Of course, let's not diverse too much into that because everyone can look that up for themselves. But for you as a person, what was the biggest changes you had to make in your fighting game?
As far as my training goes, now that jiu-jitsu is not allowed in my sport, I do more jiu-jitsu than I have ever done before.
Really?
Yeah. It is. I now do it at least twice a day, every day, with a gi, without a gi, whatever it is. And it's crazy. Like, I would have thought I would have started striking more, but no, it didn't turn out that way. I do think outside of wrestling, I think jiu-jitsu is the best way to make athletes. And getting older, competing with younger fellas, I have to remain an athlete. And I think jiu-jitsu is about as good a way as you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm too old to wrestle. So I'm the perfect age to jiu-jitsu everyone.
Yeah. You want to savor those knees, in other words. Christ almighty. So I didn't know you were that active in jiu-jitsu. That's fantastic to hear, man. Because, I mean...
Yeah. My kids had off today, so I skipped jiu-jitsu this morning, but I'll make it in again tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you can keep that in on a daily, the reps, it's just, it's how you work out, of course. It's lifestyle. It's yeah. But I'm glad to hear you got your family into it, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah, about all my kids, except for this one, have been to the gym before they went home.
Oh, fantastic, man. Fantastic. So because I've seen you train in quite a few gyms. I've seen you train in Extreme Couture, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen you do rounds here and there. What is sort of your home gym, or is it literally at home? Do you have your own?
I do have a gym at home, but no, it's not my home gym. The gym I work out with the most, and I would call it my home, is Guardian MMA here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But then I also call my another gym I train at down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Tom Galicchio's gym, Militia MMA. I call that home too. So those two, I'll call my two home gyms.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big dude. It's hard to find guys my size.
I was
So
just gonna say.
that's when I have to go out to California. You have to go out to Las Vegas. I got to start searching for guys that are 205.
Well, yeah, that's probably why you were at Extreme Couture, anyways, because he has quite a few big boys lined up over there.
Oh, they got some big ones. They got some guys too big for me. That's hard to find.
One of the rarest. He has a few bigger.
Yeah.
So let's delve into your last two fights. Well, of course, controversial in the news and this and that. But the way you dominated the second fight was not just beautiful from an MMA perspective, because I know MMA better than, well, original karate, of course, except that I know it originated from Okinawa and all that nonsense. But my point is, it was a very much more, it looked more like a karate performance. Maybe it was the environment, but it looked more than, it was more elegant than just the average bloody fight, as it were. It was fantastic to watch. And I could also see the old Sam Alvey in there. I remember your knockout, if I'm not mistaken, what's his name? Cesar Ferreira?
Cesar Mutante Ferreira.
Ferreira, that's it. I remember that knockout. It was one of the first UFCs I've ever seen. And he walked forward, clip him there. And it reminded me of that. It was like a bam. He had that look of surprise in his eyes. And that's what you were after, right?
Yeah. Whether I'm at 205 or 85, even heavyweight, I hit hard. And I've been able to rely on how hard I hit. Now that I'm in a faster sport, because I don't have to worry about the wrestling like you do in UFC, everyone's a little faster, more willing to strike, more willing to spin, more willing to do some of that cool striking arts. So I get to unleash a little bit more. I've adapted. I am becoming a faster fighter because of it, but I haven't lost any of my power, and I've been blessed for that.
Yeah. No, of course. I think indeed, like if you look at that stance and everything, the jab becomes something you really have to just count on in this case. I mean, you almost have to Willie Pep it, as it were, to talk old school American fights. But but that fight was fantastic, man. And so how long will it take to see you back in the ring, back in the pit?
Well, I just made a big call out here a couple days ago. I want two guys in one night in December. I am trying to fight in December. There are two guys that are nipping at my heels in karate combat, and I want to fight both of them the same night. If I have to, the same time, but I'd rather fight one than the next. But I'll defend my belt twice in one night. I will submit myself to the greatest karate in the world.
That's it, man. That's it. That's fighting the way. I mean, I grew up with fighting. That's the and choke at 10 fights in a night or whatever it was. That's old school. I love it. I dig the vibe, man. But I also like that two and not five.
My last three amateur fights were all on the same night. So I've been for what's that, 19 years ago or something. It's when that happened, and I would love the opportunity to fight twice in a night again.
I love it. Yeah, and I also like that the organization Karate Combat, they're up for some whatever you can call it, some changes in how they present events and stuff. I love it. I find it fantastic to watch. It's a great.
They're so much fun. I mean, they're sport for the people. Like if you own some of the Karate Combat coins, their tokens, you get a say in how the organization is run. It's so much fun.
Yeah, they almost have a certain aspect of it decentralized in a sense. It's very interesting how it works. Yeah, but I also think that they make where the UFC sort of take away the fun because of the glitz and the glamour. Karate Combat just said, have it. Let's just have fun. Let's just go, but in a very professional way, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I have such a good time watching the show. I prefer watching the Karate Combat events than I do the UFC events. Now the strongest point the UFC has that over Karate Combat is the recognizability of the fighters. Like in you have more fun when you're rooting for someone. Karate Combat is such a new sport, such a new organization. It doesn't quite have that yet, but they're working on it. They're bringing in, I mean, forever now and then Luke Rockhold came in and fought Benson Henderson and Anthony Pettis.
Great.
And me, it was really, as modestly as I can put it, they assigned me and it started shooting upwards. Now I can't take full credit myself. They've made a lot of right decisions, But the timeline is they signed me and it started skyrocketing.
Yeah, but what I also like about the whole thing is that indeed you can sort of see the parameter is true. The statistics do not lie, Sam. It's there. You're completely correct, champ. But what I also like about it is that they're looking into what new media is. They're not just promoting some fancy ass whatever it is. They're really trying to engage in, like you said, for the people, by the people, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love, so they've got the talent, they've got the fighters that understand how to fight and they like fighting. They have the good fight, but
yep.
then they have the what do they call it? The content creators fighting each other too. Guys that don't necessarily know how to fight, but are willing to fight other content creators. And I love those fights. Change rules. It's only 2 rounds instead of three, 2 minute rounds instead of 3 minute rounds. But they go out there and it's just they're putting their Twitter following on the line, and it is so much fun. It's
Brilliant.
such a good time.
Yeah, I have to say I agree. I've watched some of the things, and then you see in the end, usually after the fights, that when they come up, or just as a prelim, right? And it's usually brilliant. They're just brawling at each other. But you've also seen it professionalize a bit, isn't it? Because in the beginning, there were just guys who never fought, never trained. And now at least they're like, oh, I've got a karate combat fight in 3 months, even though I'm a crypto nerd. I'll go in the gym and start working out for 3 months. And they call each other out. So it's also growing the sport again. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Can you still hear me all right? My phone changed all over.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, they're. It's fun watching these guys that have never planned on being a fighter stepping in and fighting, and you see how serious they take it. They may not train like a professional yet, but they're not professionals, but they are training, and it is so much fun watching them fight from 1 to 9.
Okay. Well, yeah, of course, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And also, I think, as you said earlier, the rule set makes it that they have to fiery engage. There's no way around it. They have to sort of just. But I mean, in the UFC, you sometimes see them ducking each other a bit. You get boring fights now and then. Well, boring, especially if you don't know what jiu-jitsu and wrestling is. It's kind of boring.
I know what they both are, and it's the boring part of every fight. It hits the ground. All the MMA snobs say, well, if you understand jiu-jitsu, no, it is the boring part of a fight. Jiu-jitsu guys know it's the boring part of the fight. Who cares how much you know about it? It hits the ground. It is. Now, because there are the takedowns in jiu-jitsu, it changes the way they strike. So the striking can be a little less aggressive in the UFC because you have to worry about it. Karate combat's taking that out. You can't do a double leg. You can only do throws, clinch throws, stuff like that. And I really feel it is a more entertaining combat sport.
Of course. And how do you like the pit versus the cage? Because I mean, it looks fantastic.
So I love fighting in the cage. I hate watching fights in the cage. At which point you miss everything. You could be front row, you're still going to look at the screen. You're still turning your head away. I've always hated watching fights in the cage. I've liked watching fights in the ring, like in a boxing ring. It was easier to watch with less obstacles. The pit is by far my favorite thing to watch fights in, by far.
Me as a jiu-jitsu fan, since I've seen Craig Jones's flying triangle, I mean, this is ADCC should just buy that system from Karate. They should license it. It should be a thing. It should really be a thing. But yeah, I think it's brilliant. And I also think I've never been front row watching you guys because you haven't gone to Europe yet and I haven't been to Dubai yet. But other than that, we'll sort that out. But my point is, I'd love to just sit pit side because you never get that. It's the extreme front row seat.
It's right there.
That's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. They've blessed me once or twice where I got to sit front row at events, and it is so much fun. I mean, it feels like they're right in front of you.
Yeah, you're literally there. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. So I have two more questions for you, Sam. What would you give aspiring karatecas as the heavyweight champion of karate combat? What would you give advice to upcoming young fighters? Learn how to mistakes they make, and what would you do to remedy them?
Yeah, learn how to cut weight. Right now, the karate combat athletes, they don't cut much weight. When I fight, I can be a weight bully now because I've been cutting weight my whole life. I'll step back into the pit. I'll be 240 pounds. Yeah. My opponent won't be. Last guy I fought, he was closer. He was about 215, but it's still not cutting much weight. Yeah. And as the sport progresses, you're going to get more meatheads like me that are willing to suffer and, step in like that. So learn how to cut weight. I think that's very important. And they just introduced rules where you're using elbows. And I know a lot of traditional martial arts don't use elbows.
Yeah.
You got to start playing with them. Yeah, at the very least, learn how to defend them.
Yeah, exactly. Get some Muay Thai coaches in or what. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very good advice because it's about safety and longevity and about the evolution of the sport. You couldn't have pinpointed a better champ. That's fantastic. People, because they're so overcrowded with flashy stuff, they tend to forget what it's really about, the martial arts. So what would your take on that be, Sam?
I've always said I think the world would be a better place if everyone's been punched in the face at least once. It is the most humbling experience in the world, being humble, being proven that as big and bad as you think you are, you're not. And too many people get to run their mouth on the internet and they never learn how much they don't know. Get into a gym, get your butt kicked, learn how to kick somebody else's butt, and then don't do it. It just, once you are proven to not know what you think you know, it just opens your mind to everything. You are so much more willing to learn, even more about than just the physical aspect of it, but knowing that there are things you don't know just opens your mind to knowing it. That was a very, I don't know if I said that properly or not, but it made sense.
I'm pretty sure
sense.
I got it, so I'm pretty sure everyone will get it. I like it.
There are a lot of double negatives in that. And
I love it because you give two things. First off, you should be punched in the face at least once, which I love because it's a variation of Mike Tyson's famous sentence: "Everyone's going to plan until they get punched in the face."
Yeah. Yeah.
and in jiu-jitsu, we also have the saying: punch a black belt hard once, he becomes a brown belt, and then punch him again, he becomes. There's truth in that as well. So, I completely agree with that. And I wanted to ask you as well, as an ender, have you ever sparred with GSP or Baz Rutten, since they're both in the Karate Combat Organization?
No, I did get to do a lesson with Baz Rutten, and it was my first fight with Karate Combat. All right, Sam, you're going to do a one-on-one with Baz Rutten for 15 minutes. Oh, okay. It was funny. He hit me so much harder than I was prepared for. Like, it was a day before I cut weight, and he kind of beat me up a little bit.
Oh.
It was all explaining stuff like we were teaching how to do, and he's incredible doing that. But it was like he was putting some real thump on every kick and every punch. Like, ow, I got hurt.
No, but they're really known for that. These Dutch kickboxers, they hit wood instead of whatever.
Yes. No, it was a lot of fun getting to do that with him, and I love Boss. GSP, I only got to meet very briefly, although I do think, and I would tell anyone to the face, he is the greatest that's ever been. And I hope I get to meet and do more with GSP.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think he exemplifies what a martial artist should be, especially if you're a champion and an icon as well. He completely embodies that as an MMA champion, not Muhammad Ali or whatever is his age. And I think in MMA, GSP is sort of, in the UFC at least, he has that crown for me. Right. In a very dignified way as well. He's human, again, for the people. Yeah. So fantastic, man. Fantastic. And Bas, of course, I'm not surprised that he still hits hard, man. If you watch the liver kicks from back in the day, Christ, man, that's, I would do a lot, but definitely not that. No, but thank you for joining us, Sam. I'm sure our viewers will find it very delightful to hear your insights.
You are so welcome. And again, I'm so sorry I forgot about last week or the last time we were supposed to meet. That was completely my fault. It just slipped my mind, and I get hit for a living, so it comes and goes.
No, Sam, I'm very happy that you took out 15 minutes of your very busy schedule. I'm also very happy to speak to you because what you represent is what it should all be about, in my opinion.
I really appreciate it.
And on that bombshell, Sam, I'll leave you be.
Have a go, my friend.